You see weird things working backstage at Disney. Most folks think of the Magic Kingdom as this pristine, carefully controlled dreamland. And for the guests, that's true. But for us, the cast members, the ones who work behind the curtains, it's a machine, a living, breathing machine. A beautiful one, sure, but all machine always the same. Every cog has a role, every person has a job to do in it, every schedule must be met, especially when it comes to the trains. I've worked at the magic behind our steam trains tour for a few years now. It's a special kind of gig. Waking up before the sun rises, walking the tracks in the mist, prepping the engines. These beauties aren't just theme park rides. They are real, living, breathing locomotives, over a century old, and brought back to life from the railroads of Yucatan all the way in Mexico. Walter E. Disney, Lily Bell, Roger E. Brogy, and Royal Disney. We all treat them like people. Hell, sometimes they feel like people. But then, there's something else. Something I hadn't heard of until that one tour. We were wrapping up the maintenance portion of this experience back when they did the shed behind Fantasyland. The morning crowd hadn't hit yet. It was quiet, peaceful. That's when a kid on this tour tugged at my vest, probably 9 years old, cheeks still sticky from a Mickey bar. He looked up at me, serious as anything, and said, "Why is that one brown?" I blinked. "What do you mean, brown?" He pointed towards the trees, beyond the edges where guests aren't supposed to see, towards a tunnel. He said, "There was a brown train. It was looking at us when we went through Frontierland." I chuckled, unsure. "We only got four engines here, buddy. Maybe you saw Lily Bell because her green sometimes blends into the trees." "No, it was brown," the kid interrupted me. "All brown. Brown, and it was dirty. I saw its face." "But engines don't have faces." "But it did have one," the kid told me. His mom ushered him away before I could ask anything more. But something about the way he said it unsettled me. Wait, kid," I called out. "Do you want me to show you?" "Yes, please." And so I showed him all our engines. Walter E. Disney, engine number 1, a Baldwin locomotive, red boiler, red cab. I think it was the first to be restored on the railroad. My opinion, the face of the railroad. Lily Bell, engine number 2, green boiler and green cab, named after Walt's life. My opinion, the easiest to operate. Roger E. Brogy, number 3, green boiler, red cab, named after the Imagineer who helped build the place. Royal Disney, number 4, red boiler and green cab, reliable but struggles with the grade sometimes. That's all of them. But then I glanced at the photo that the kid was showing me. One I'd see a dozen times. The original shipment. It looks similar to the one of the original shipment. Flatbeds of the engines from Mexico. Before restoration, there were 5. The 5th one was hard to see off to the side in its Yucatan livery, but you could just faintly see. I could swear the headlamp was on, and there was a silhouette in the cab. That night, I was stationed at Main Street Station, overseeing the nightly closing route. The railroads close at 6, so it's still a bit packed. The locomotives tend to circle around the park one by one and back to the maintenance shed behind Fantasyland. Roy was already in the shed. Lily Bell had just pulled into Fantasyland Station. Roger was waiting at Frontierland. My radio crackled.
"Green for transfer. Lily's tucked in. Roger's leaving Frontierland now."
That was my cue. I jumped into Walter's cab and checked the gauges. Everything looked good. I eased the throttle forward. The familiar hiss of steam rushing around me as we rolled out of Main Street Station. But as we approached the tunnel behind the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, so I saw something strange. The signal light was red. It never turns red at this time of night. Roger had just left Frontierland. They wouldn't lie. I radioed back, asking if there was any issues. No one answered. I stepped down after applying the engine's brakes and walked into the signal box. My flashlight flickering through the trees. Everything looked fine. The switch was aligned properly. The signal was working. Then I heard it. A whistle. At first I thought it was Walter's. Maybe something echoing weird off the tunnel walls. But no. I wasn't even in Walter's cab. So there was no way it could have been Walter's. And it was louder, deeper, warped, like someone had taken Walter's whistle and stretched it, twisted it until it cried something alive. I turned toward the tunnel, and a light was coming, dim, fuzzy, a headlamp. The locomotive emerged slowly. It wasn't out of hours. It looked like them, same shape, same structure, but older, more corroded. Like it had been left to rot in the jungle a decade longer than the others. It was painted a dull, grimy brown. Well, it looked brown at least. It was rust covering its black paint. Rust flaked off the metal like old skin. Its tail had cracked, flickering, and on the tender, it's in crumbling rust-colored letters, Ferdeyuksa. That was the railway they came from, Ferrocarriles Unidos de Yucatan. The smoke box door furniture began to crack. Not from pressure, no. It cracked like glass. A fracture spiraled outward. That chunk at the door melted away in a second, dripping, bubbling, then crashed and shattered and formed trash. A face. A child's face. Wedged into the inside where the fiend was in it. Gaping eyes, black, white pupils and tiny white irises. Well, I thought they were white. They were black. I'm like, fix me again. Then it screamed at the top of its lungs. The scream was echoing, distorted. It sounded like something straight out of a horror movie. The physical face looked horrifying. It screamed more and more. Then to reverse, steam hissed violently as it went back to the tunnel. I ran into Walter's cab, threw the throttle forward, and changed into the tunnel. Then something slammed against the back of the last car. The whole train jolted forward as it was pushed out. Another scream ran out, closer now, like a child shrieking underwater. We burst out of the tunnel into the clear, and I just screams got worse and worse. The noise caught instantly, like someone had closed the door behind us. The rest of the trip to Fantasyland station was calm, too calm. When I climbed down Walter's cab at Fantasyland station, the others immediately noticed something on my arm. I looked at it, and to my horror, I saw something red, something a bit sticky. Blood. A deep cut had opened up just above my elbow. My uniform sleeve was ripped clean through. The skin underneath was torn, clean, like it had been sliced. I didn't feel a thing. I didn't go home. I couldn't. I went to the hospital. Of course, I had to go into the break room first, fumbling through anything I could find, files, documents, anything reference to a fifth engine. But what I found at the break room was horrifying. June 25th, 1969. Incoming shipment manifest. Flatbed transport from Merida, Yucatan. 5 engines. 4 to be restored. 1 for parts due to being out of service for too long and in poor condition. I kept digging. Found an incident report from a week later. The transportation train stopped unexpectedly near Billurks. A kid had climbed to the flatbeds earlier that day. They said he stuck to the cap of the 5th engine. When the train stopped suddenly, he was thrown forward, impaled on the throttle. They found him dead, screaming. No family, no press, nothing. The engine was blood-stained, damaged, and it was already deemed too unstable, and too unsuitable, and too, broken for restoration. They took it apart. They put many things, took it apart. For example, they put Roy's funnel on it, the funnel on it for Roy, and a bunch of other things. But those weren't listed. But I still find it horrifying that its parts were used to repair the other 4. Its name was never recorded. It never ran on a Disney Railroad, not even a Disneyland one. It was never given home. The next morning, I checked Walter again, just to feel sane. Taped to the wall in his cab, the other employees were going crazy over it. In dark, rusty color ink was a note it had made the night before. It read, "You should have given me that 5th berth. And he built it to destroy that stupid track preparing machine. He knew. It knew. The fifth stall in the roundhouse it wasn't empty by mistake. It was built for him. But they never gave it to him. It was really had spare bolts, whistle, brake rod, gear there. But now there's all in the other 4 engines disassembled. It's soul scuds by the others. But he's remembering, and now he wants that back.